Okie dokie. I'm back from lunch. Get this all set up and we'll work our way, continue through this afternoon. It's time to turn some resin. So let me make sure I have all my pages here that I'm looking for. I need to see it. Eye on you guys. Down here just a little bit. Multiple screens. It's a good day. We're having a good day. So that says I was live. There we go. There's that one. Fibercraft page. I need to hit mute. All right. Good deal. And let me check over on my personal page. Love the computer world. There. 8 minutes. I've been on here for 8 minutes already. No. Okay. Go. We got that. Cast resins. Yep. There we go. Good deal. Noon to y'all. Slow typer. There. Bridget and Lorianne are back. Nice to see both you ladies here. Hello and welcome back. I know I'm talking and typing at the same time, saying the same thing. I'd like to cover all my bases. Time to turn resin. We're having tons of fun. All right, it's time to go to work. This one back here to that. All right, I'm good. Where are we at? There we are. So, guess what? My little, get these guys out of the way. My little sphere, as so far, has not exploded. The resin is not leaking out of it. That's a good thing. This over here. The question I have for myself, let me show you. Both cameras. It hasn't come out the sides. So it did soak in a little bit somehow. I don't know how it soaked in there. But it has stayed together. The tricky part now is going to be moving it. I'm afraid that when I pick it up to carry it over to the others, that it's going to pop loose. And I'm practicing. Remember, I was talking about Dino earlier. Works for the drives the shows, runs his tractor trailer, and he works in the booth as cashier and fix-all man for me. He wants to make a new shifter ball for his truck, the Cat House it's called. It has a Caterpillar engine, and I tried to loan him this, and he wouldn't do it. So I thought, well, I'll at least get some practice in. So I'm going to gently carry this over here, put it over with the other items on this table, and hope and pray that it doesn't crash and burn. Okay, so now I can take away my portable cleaning top, or my portable clean top, I should say, and we'll put it over here out of the way. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to open up the pressure pot, and we're going to take out yesterday's piece. And then we're going to turn it. So I know you can't see this. I'm not going to change the cameras. I'm just going to leave this over here out of the way because I want to put those other pieces in as well. So, yep, I'm right down here. I haven't gone anywhere. It's too heavy to pick up and put up top. So I'm going to bleed the air out of this. And once that finishes bleeding, we'll open it up and we'll bring out our resin piece. Is my dad back? Is Dad back out here? Dad here while that air is bleeding off? All right. Cool beans. That lets all the air out. Undo it. We'll see what we've got. This is always the reveal part. Then I'm going to put those other pieces in here and turn the compressor back on. It's pretty quiet, so hopefully it won't get in the way of what we're doing. And hopefully this is a cool looking piece. It's it's molded in a Dunkin' Donuts mold provided by my wife, Bridget, from her iced coffee drinking that she has. Her and her friends at work, and they wonderfully provide me with all these Dunkin' Donut cups, and it makes great molds. Now we've got some pretty cool looking colors in here. Here's the top. You can see some of the glitter went down inside. You can see some of the orange and from the side. So we'll cut this open. What I'll do is I'll cut this open now. And then I'll leave the camera on it while I put the other pieces in the pot. Only thing I need to find is a sharp knife to work with. I have 37 of them. I never find one when I need it at the moment that I need it. Always seems to be the case. There's one. There's one. We're all good. So these work great. I just cut it in 4 places up top. Always cutting away from myself. And then I lay it down and just cut right down the side of it. The beauty again is the pre-made tenon there. It fits right in my Easy Wood chuck. Now this piece has an interesting look to it. I'm seeing kind of an orangish, and lots of good swirls. It looks like. So you see it peels right off, no big deal. And there is our piece. Pretty cool. That looks good. Put that in the pile. Also notice the glitter that made it all the way to the bottom. So I put glitter on the top. I have glitter on my hands now. Remember I told you that the glitter is specific gravity is greater than, heavier than the resin itself. That's how much glitter sank all the way to the very bottom of the piece. But we've got some great swirls in here. A little bit, I get a little bit of bubbling sometimes down in the very bottom of these. I need to work on that. I think it's because I don't quite get it down in the tenon area. Hasn't been a big issue, but it's something I need to keep an eye on. All right, so we're going to set that right there, and I'll put it on that camera for just a few minutes, and I'll keep talking to you while I'm putting in the other things in the pot. Okay, I'm checking there. I'm doing a little checking here on the screens while I'm at it. I jumped into my personal page. It looks like Todd Hall's back. Hey, Todd. Lewis Kaufman. Lewis, great to see you. Braxton, thank you for coming. We're having lots of fun today. Making mess. Now we're turning resin. All right. Got a couple of pieces, and let me show you. Well, do I dare walk this back over? The resin in our wood piece looking good. I think I'm just going to go straight back into the pressure pot with it. And I don't want to move it because it's pretty kind of delicate. So I'm going to put the pressure pot right where it needs to be. Over here out of the way. I'll just take this guy, bottom of the pot, plastic. Resin on the bottom of the chuck. All right. I'm just setting this down in the pot. That's all I'm doing. Nothing fancy. Setting it down in there. And we'll put the lid back on. Crank her all down. And put the air to it. I turned the camera yesterday, and then it turned out to be a pain to get it all adjusted back over, so I'll only be here for a minute. Out of sight. I'll be right back with you. And we'll find out what this looks like tomorrow now when it sets up. Just been having so much fun out here this weekend. You know, everybody, I say everybody, most people now around the country are at home trying to stay away from the virus stuff. And so it's good. I'm happy to be able to be out here and bring you some wood turning education, resin turning education for that matter. I'm at home here with the wife and the cats. We don't have anywhere we have to go. I can come out here and go to work. No complaints about that. We're both healthy. We don't have any virus symptoms or signs. Thankful for that. All right. I've got my lid tightened down. Let me open my valves, all the appropriate valves on here. Plug in my compressor. Hit the reset button. It has a hard life. I'm going to spin this around so I can check the gauge every once in a while. Okay. We'll get away from that noise. Come back over here. Back to the task at hand. Boom. I love having my remote control. I know I duct taped it on yesterday. So go ahead and give me a hard time. It's working. Couldn't find the bolts at the last minute, but this is great. This is a little iPad that runs my switcher that's over there. So all the computer stuff can go into a room on the back side of the studio. And this is a $100 rebuilt, reserviced, or whatever, recertified iPad. So all I have to have out here is a $100 iPad into all the dust and everything. So I'm liking that a lot. Let's get things put back together here. Tailstock back up. Get set up to turn some resin. If you haven't started messing with resins yet, it's really fun. It's almost addicting. I know I've been having a ball with it. So I'll use my Easy Wood chuck, 2 3/8" jaws. Get that mounted up. And using these cups, Dunkin' Donuts is one. McAllister's Deli, don't own any portion of it, but wouldn't be bad if I did. Has the same profile. It's actually the cup is made by, if you ever really wanted to get having a bunch of them, Solo cups, not the red Solo. It's the same company, but the red Solo cup won't work. Most resins will melt it. Make these drink cups with that particular profile in the bottom. And the beauty of this is, with my, I gotta adjust that camera so you can see that I adjusted it earlier for something else. Fix this for you. Tell you what, so you don't have to see it wiggle. Let me go to the overhead so you don't get nauseous. And I'll fix this camera. All right. So my 2 3/8" jaws work perfectly on this guy. Without having to even turn a tenon. Make sure it's pretty true before I tighten it up way up. All right, good deal. Now, what am I going to make? I don't know. I usually just kind of make a little, some kind of a little goblet-looking thing. Mostly what I'm trying to show you is a cross-section of the resin. I think maybe today I was just looking at some in the house I've made that are a little goblet, real thin stem. I had this other idea too, though, and this one might be cool for that. I just changed my mind. Scratch what I just said. I'm going to make a little hollow form. I'm going to make a little small cylindrical hollow form out of this. I had this idea the other day, and I haven't done it, and I was going to do it. So I think that's what I'm going to try today on this. So we have all the stuff we need to do that. Again, we'll just bring the tailstock up until it's in the way. So again, let me mention that wherever I threw it, my mask, I normally wear a mask when I'm turning this resin. A little neoprene mask with filters in it. The resin, the big streamers, the big streamers that you'll see, the big streamers that you'll see coming off the resin, they're not really the issue. It's the kind of the dust and the fumes that come out of it. So when it gets nasty, I put on this mask right here. Now, if this, sometimes you'll see more of a haze or a mist in the air than others. And if it gets real bad, if it starts to bother me, I'll put the mask on. It does fit underneath my blue mask. I do get a little muffled talking through it. So we'll see how it goes, but I keep this handy for that. And I'm going to check on something on my air system here real quick. What that really means is I'm turning on a fan to get a little breeze over here. It's starting to warm up. Compressor's looking good. It'll go off in a minute. All right. So we're ready to go here. Give this a spin, see what happens. I started at 0. I don't like the way that's centered, though. So we'll change that. Tighten his headstock down. Not sure why I had it loose. Doo-doo-doo-doo. There we go. That's better. Okay, good deal. So, tool-wise, what am I going to use? Well, I'm going to use the EasyWood tools. And the EasyWood tools are now, I'm outfitting them with their latest, the negative rake cutters. So I have a whole range. I have the number one Holliver, which is my favorite of theirs. I have the mid-size. So I have a CI5 for those of you who know the cutters. A CI5, a CI3. I have over here somewhere in the micro a CI7 negative rake cutter. Then these negative rake cutters really make a difference. I have a CI2 R2 NR on my square style tool for cleaning things up, again in a negative rake. So I'm pretty well covered. I have mid-size and micros in a negative rake, plus I also have the mid-size micro with a negative rake cutter on if I decided I wanted to use that. Now, what I don't know is how old these cutters are, because they were out on the road. And so I'm going to change, for sure I'm going to change out this CI5 real quick, because I know that I want it to be as fresh as possible. I think my 3 is good. I brought fresh ones of all of them if I need them. One thing I can't stand is the dull tool, and the resins are really hard on tools. These carbide tools do last a long time, but long time and forever are two different things, and nothing lasts forever. So I'll make a couple of quick cutter changes here. Looks like the pressure pot is just about up to pressure. I'll walk over there and turn this thing off in a second. I'll give it until I finish. I don't know if you can even hear it. Until I finish changing this cutter. Then I'll turn it off. Turn off the compressor. Don't drop the little screw down in the sawdust on the floor. That would be bad. I'd like to just load the screw onto. I put this to show you. I load the screw onto the Allen wrench first. All right. Then I drop the cutter on it, so it's in place. And I just bring it up to my tool. Make sure there's nothing in your tool, no junk or crud. Get her started. Always use the short handle to tighten your screw down. If you use the long handle, you can over tighten them. Okay. So we're good. We're set there. We've got a fresh cutter on here. Make sure it's sitting flat. That one looks good. This will be kind of my number one tool on this. Again, if I think the others are dull, I'll change them along the way. These little wrenches, I lose them all the time. I buy them by the 100. I'm out of the 100 box. If you buy an EasyWood tool or an EasyWood cutter from Spydercraft online, you always get an extra wrench with your order. Let me go over here and turn this compressor off now. Because we are up to 70 pounds there, so we are good to go. Quick step, sorry, before I put the mask on. All right, what's my speed look like? I'd like to usually turn this around 1,000. So that's turning 1029. So I'm good. I'm happy with that. And I'm just going to get this trued up, get my tool rest up to center height, where it needs to be. Now, what'll happen is it's really shiny now, and then it'll get dull. And when I get the outside shape done, I'll go ahead and polish it, and then we'll start hollowing out the inside. Okay? Should be a lot of fun. Again, I'm I'm thinking of literally, I don't know the name of them, a light bulb, the little teardrop light bulbs. I say teardrop, real small candelabra light bulbs. That's kind of the shape I have in mind here. We'll see how, that's my first thought. We'll see how it goes. Oh, I meant to show you. I was on the wrong one. The little, real long and thin light bulbs. Okay? You have any questions? Craig Jackson, the Craig Jackson. Oh my word. And here I am with EasyWood tools in my hand. I'm amazed. Good to see you, Craig. Hope I do your tools proud. Number one, hollower is my favorite tool. Okay, let's get this guy around. Let me see. Let's go to overhead for you in 3. So I'm going to have to take a lot away from the top end here. I should move this headstock back over. Let me do that. Let me fix this where this piece is back in the middle of everything. You all deserve the best view going. So I'm just going to slide all this down to where it's back in the middle of the picture. There we go. And that means I also have to adjust the end camera, but I'll do that for you too while I'm out of here. I'm particular about the views you get. I want them to be good. I want you to be able to see what's going on. That one adjusted. There we go. Okay. Back to work. Oh, maybe I should tighten that down though, Brad. Always in a hurry. All right. So I'm going to start taking away this top end, and I'm going to do my best to stay out of the way of the streamers. It's not really possible. They seem to want to follow you wherever you go. And maybe I'll change my mind about the shape of this too, so I don't have to turn so much. If you guys want to see what happens to the turner when you're turning this stuff, even though I'm standing out of the way, when I go left to right or right to left, it's okay. When I go back the other way, it throws it right at me. I think I just changed my mind again about the shape. I love turning because you can change your mind all day long. And I just changed my mind again. While I'm at it, let's change tools. I got the rough part done, made sure it's round. Let's drop over to CI3. A little bit bigger cutter. And the beauty of turning resin is there's no grain orientation to worry about or anything like that. So I've had friends, so-called friends out there at the woodworking shows, allow me to go out to dinner after work. 2 years ago, I guess it was now, the last thing I did, I'm going to change this cutter. The last thing I did was resin turning at the end of the day. And sure, I got it off of my face and all that, but they would let me go out to dinner with the resin on the back of my head, all these strings and all that stuff. And they wouldn't say anything. People look at me strange. I mean, I know I'm a little different, but I didn't understand why people were looking at me so weird until somebody said, what's all that all over the back of your head? What stuff, Turns out it was turning strings, resin strings. All right, let's get a fresh DI3 negative rake to put on here real quick. The last thing I can't stand is a dull tool. I get a lot of use out of these out on the road. We've run them for weeks, but they also ride around in a toolbox, get beat up, things like that. People always want to know, well, how do you know when that kind of cutter is dull? I say, because it stops working like it used to. I don't know if Mr. Craig there would have a better answer for that, but you can tell the difference after a while. If it's not working like it used to. Notice I stepped over to the table there to change that one because I've got strings now all over the place in a mess. All right. I love the colors that are in here. Let's go there for you. You can see these different shades in here. I've got the gold. I've got purple, bluish. I can't even remember now. I'd have to look at the video what colors I mixed yesterday. Right? But I'll make a couple more passes on here, then I'll jump over and check for any questions. Let's do a little bit more here. I want to get the general shape going here. Put my tool rest in. Again, just turning about 1,000 RPMs. Tool rest is a fuzz high. So you see, I've changed my mind about the shape, but I like this little shape. Now, I'm not going to take it off. I'm going to leave its tenon on because I'm not going to sand this today. I'm just going to polish it. And I want to come back and sand it later on, back on the lathe. So I'm not going to part it off and take it off of here. But you'll get the idea. Okay, stop and clean that up. Now I'm going to round that over. I'm going to work on this shape here a little bit more at the very top because I took some material away. So let's get this back where I want it. Cut this down. I'm going to roll that shoulder over some more again. I don't know what you call them, but you always see them in mummy movies and Egyptian pyramid movies. The vases, the vessels, the big tall ones that were always around there. Okay. All right. Oh, you guys stay up there. Now, having a tool argument over here. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to come back and smooth this up, but let me go check for questions first. See if anybody's got any questions about what we're up to. I'd like to make sure I stay on top of that. All right, that looks good over there. And over here, I'm on my page. I'm on my personal page checking comments at the moment. There's a
question in, or there's a comment in a language I don't understand, so I'll say that I don't. Scroll down. Everything looks good. On that one, let's go over to Spark. Come on, microphone, come to work. All right, so the sound should be back. Now, if the batteries are dying on me, even though they were charged all night, then hey, Jim Lully, um, good to see you, brother. Hopefully, the sound is back and will stay back. If it, I may have inadvertently hit the button on my transmitter, or the batteries are dying, in which case I will be in trouble. But let me zoom this in for you now on that so you can see the stars down in there. And then I'll remember to look at the camera when I zoom it back out. So all the little twinklies, and I know I'm only 2 feet away with my eyes, and you're closer than that. You should, the lights may be messing it up for you. But I hope you can see the little twinkles. We'll leave it right there. Yeah, you can see down in there pretty good. I'm looking at the slope plane. You can see the tool marks as well. But the focus is off when it's zoomed in that close. Video interrupted, should resume. Error, YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. We're getting buffered here all of a sudden. Check in on this end. Internet may be just overloaded this afternoon, or getting overloaded. Check something else. Everything is running, but the bandwidth is getting eaten up out there in the world. Okay. So that's back to a reasonable section. Okay, it's time to go inside of this guy. I hope the sound is back. Somebody tell me if the sound is back. Okay, let's see here. Do we have sound back? We hope we have sound back. Colin Cole, you just joined. Let me know if you hear me, since it looks like I had a battery crisis, um, and I lost all my sound. I'm going to go over here. It looks like I've got my sound back now on my software. So you charge your batteries all night, your rechargeable batteries, but of course they only last for so long. And these have been, I have to admit, on the road for 2 years, the ones that I was using. So they seem to have finally given up the ghost. And hopefully, let me know if the sound is back now. I'll ask that over here too. So is the sound back, gang? I'll write here and say sound back. It's always something. I'll stay right here until I get a response on that. Somebody tell me if my sound is back out there or not. You can listen to me hum if you can hear me. Got you now. Okay. So the answer is yes, the sound is back. I'm taking it. Amazing the delay here. But let's go back to work. I'll watch this screen. Make sure. Okay, you got sound. I got confirmation. All right. What are you going to do, right? So the rechargeable batteries, you charge them all night in a special charger. They're supposed to run for 7 hours. I know I haven't been talking for 7 hours yet today. I turn them off when I go away. But hey, one thing about rechargeable batteries is once they start going, they don't hold the charge as long. So there I am, but I had extra batteries in the house, so off I ran. I apologize for the interruption and then for the rambling as I was making sure I was back in shape and running. So we're ready to go inside of this thing. I don't know if you heard me talking about, I don't know where the sound quit, all the little pieces of glitter being like little star twinkles in there. And so just in case, I'm going to zoom this back down again. This may be redundant, and if so, I got to change camera though, Bradley. If it's redundant, I apologize, and that's the wrong one. 3. So I want you to see these little twinkles down in there. That's the glitter, and that's the way I like it. Just a little bit of glitter every so often here and there. Just a little hint. You can see the colors, the depth in the pearl. The swirls of the pearl is what gives it its depth. Granted, that's a little out of focus because it's on manual focus. But that's pretty cool looking down in there. Okay, so let me get the zoom back to where it needs to be. Back out there, and we will head inside of this guy. All right, so we're going to go and start to hollow. And I know I'm going to go into the next one now. That extra delay. But that's okay. I'm guessing if you're here today, give or take, you may not have a whole lot of, not that you don't like hanging with me, you don't have a whole lot of other places that you can go right now, which is unfortunate, and it's sad for everybody that's in this predicament. But let's go ahead and do our hollowing. I'm going to take the number one hollower. I'll use the number one hollower, my favorite tool of EasyWood tools, and we'll start working our way in through here. Then I'll use the curve tools to reach around the corner, and we'll hollow this guy right out. And like I was saying, with or without sound, I don't know. If I can make it thin enough where we can see the light shine through here because there is some clear and it's translucent, then that would be pretty cool. So let's see what I can do here today. Alrighty. And it's starting to get hot. What you got, what you got. Number 2 on the end. I might zoom that in a little bit for you, and I hope it stays in focus. Okay, I've gone to running manual focus because the autofocus could just not handle it. The trade-off is when you have a manual focus going, or I was going to also check the tightness of this. When you have the manual focus, then you have to change it all the time. Yeah, that tenon's crushing a little bit. So let's go back up to about 1200. Okay. And I need to raise my tool rest up just a fuzz. And did anybody notice that? If I don't tell you, you won't say anything. It was still in reverse. So I'll just start working my way right down in here. Again, no death grip is needed on the tools. We get a little bit of vibration there because my tenon is a little soft and it's got a couple of voids in it. Just there was a pocket in there. But this number one hollower just makes easy work of this. Make sure I'm not in the view. Okay, I'm just, as I lean over a little bit, I want to make sure I'm not blocking the camera at all. Hollowing is a really fun aspect of turning because you can't see what you're doing, so it's all by feel. But it's also very rewarding because when you are successful at it, it's very rewarding because it's not the easiest thing. It's not as hard as you think. Just take some practice. First time I started hollowing, I bought a big poplar, or I didn't buy it, I got it for free at a club meeting, a big giant poplar logs. I bought 3 of them. And it was rainbow poplar. Nobody at the club wanted it. And me being new, I said, I'll take it. So I took it home. And I decided I was going to make hollow forms. And I had never made any hollow forms. And my dad had just recently given me an arm brace hollowing tool. So I proceeded to cut those logs up and make about a dozen hollow forms. And when I was done with a dozen hollow forms, at least I had a clue what hollowing was all about. Made a whole lot more since then. I still have that hollowing tool. I use it in certain applications. So you can see I'm just taking my time working my way down in here. I think I'm lower that tool rest back down now just a little bit. I want to get a couple of inches down in here. So right now, is my fancy measuring method. I'm only about an inch inside. I want to get down into about here before I start to come in with a curve tool and go around the corner. That gives me enough room for the tool to work and have room on its back side to work. Just keep your chips out of there, because the chips can, even in turning in resin, I mean, the chips can grab your tool and throw it around and then make things break, especially if they're thin, if you've got thin walls going. Make sure I take the little nub out. Sometimes I'll just drill a hole right down the middle. See how the tool just drops into that hole in the middle? It kind of helps keep you from building a nub. Stop and clean it out. Now I like to do as much as I can with a straight tool because it's just easier to control. I'm looking to see if we're going to be able to see through this. I can see my finger at the top, so yeah, we'll be able to see through this, which would be cool. I like to use the straight tools. It's the easiest to control as much as I can, as long as I can, before I go to a curve tool. So I'll actually come along at an angle like that. You'll see with me, and I'll do it with the lathe off. I've got the tool at this angle. Let me go overhead. You can see that. So you can see how I can come in angled like that and work my way right down the wall. All right, and that saves me from having to try and get rid of all that material with the curve tool, where I'm going to reach out into the corners here. All righty, so let's go back to the end view for you there. Small little projects can be just as fun and rewarding as the big ones. All right, let's see where we're at. So using our fancy measuring device, we're down to about here. So that's good. So now I'm going to go ahead and start to take some of the top out of this. Now I'm going to start out with a bigger hollowing tool, the mid-size number 2, wherever I put it yesterday. Where did I put you? There you are. But it doesn't have a negative rake on it, so maybe I'm not. Okay, so I will start with the micros. The micro hollowers, or mini hollowers, the new mini hollowers from EasyWood. So I need to go up a little bit with the cutter, because I only brought one CI5 NR with me. So I'll start to work my way around this corner. It's going to be a neat little piece. So that's reaching right around the corner there for me. Doing a nice job. So this first section, it's about 1/8 of an inch thick. And that's what I'm going to go for the whole piece. I'm not going to try and make it paper thin. No need to. Plus, it would take longer. That vibration, again, is from that tendon. It keeps compressing. And I hate tightening this up because it makes things move. But that tendon had a void in it. And it seems like it just keeps coming around. So again, I'm just working in this upper section, say the top inch, inch and a half of the piece. And then I'll probably go back to the straight tool after I get this section done to take out, there'll be a lip down below here, and I can feel it. There'll be a lip down there. And so I'll take the straight tool, the big tool, and carve that lip away. But these little mini hollowers are great for projects like this. Get right inside there. Take your time and move nice and slow. I'll switch you over to the overhead for a minute, let you see that. You can see I've just got the 2 fingers on the tool. Keep her cleaned out. So it's doing pretty good. I can see my finger through the wall. You probably can't in the camera. My finger moving in there or not. But I'm good to right here. Got this whole shoulder already done. And now I'm working on the widest point right there of getting that turned away. And I may, like I said, I'm going to grab the straight tool here in a minute. One of the hard parts is keeping up with where the cutter is. The tool doesn't have a reference. It might make some reference marks on, if you've got a set of these, you might make some reference marks on them. At half, from the corner, let's say half an inch, an inch, just take your file, your triangle file, and just maybe file a little scratch across there so you know where you're at, because it's a little hard to keep up with. Okay. I'm going to take the straight tool and take out a little bit. I'm going to take my number 1 hollower and take out a little bit of material there. Past where the curve is. Much faster and easier. Now what happens is all the chips go, centrifugal force throws them all out to the largest diameter inside of the piece. Luckily this is small enough I can just reach in over my finger. I don't have to go bring the compressor over. And I can feel that lip, the ridge or lip that I've built in there with the curve tool. It's right there. So I can just start to carve that away down the wall. See, this stuff's still a little soft and gooey, and it tries to grab the tool once in a while. So that's something you need to keep aware of. All right. Because again, 24 hours cure for a resin, or whatever it says the cure time is, that's the cured state but that's not the truly fully cured state of a resin. They take a little bit longer. I like to give them a week. If it will turn a little bit different. You don't have the softness to them. Cured and completely cured are two different things, and they should say that uh, in the directions more often. Trying to get rid of that nub and start a little more of a hole down the center here. Just drop right on down in there. Quite easy. You just once you get comfortable not seeing the tool, it's really not hard. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go back in there with my 45. I know I've probably used up all my time allotment on this one. I'll just keep right on going into the next one when I finish this up or stop. See, sometimes you can bring a lot of the chips out with the tool because they're so sticky right now. And when they get hot, I mean, that's really, you could almost squeeze that back together into something. Hey, it's Dick Gerard. How you doing there, sir? Are we having fun today or what? I do need to stop and move my tool rest in. That's the one thing with these little tools. You can only go so far. So I can get all the way in there, but I need to move my tool rest right up against the piece. Come on, don't catch. See, that's a big old chunk. So that's how much we cut just in that one pass. Okay, just one pass down through there, cut that much material with that little cutter. That's doing pretty good. I'm liking that wall thickness. That's real nice. I'll make a couple more passes up here in the higher section. And then I'll leave it alone and move on down. And I'll try and wrap this up pretty quick. Funny, I can actually see the tool moving down through there. Oh, didn't get it all. As it goes down through the translucent areas. A little bit more out of there. Make me happy. If you were trying to make things really thin, people who turn wood thin, the same thing with resin, a bright light shining on it will really do wonders. You can see the thickness change, how much light is being transferred through a piece. So a bright light, that's the hat turners and whatnot. Ben Foe, with his thin pieces, he always used a light. And that's the thickness gauge. I can pull that out. Nope. Come on out of there. It doesn't want to leave. Again, we want it to be a uniform thickness. Just if it was wood, it needs to be uniform to keep from cracking when it moves. And the resin doesn't really move much. It moves a little bit, but not really. But still, to have a nice piece, you're working towards a uniform thickness. So I kind of run up against the shoulder that I cut down there. Back up here to the top. All right. I think I'm probably going to call that thin enough. And I'll take the straight tool. Come on out of there. Take the straight tool and go the rest of the way down in here and finish this out with that, because I believe I can. I've got a ridge right about here. So what I've been working on is this whole section from there to there. Where am I at here? I need to defog my goggles myself. I've been working from the very rim and right about where my thumbnail is. How far down in here we are. That's where the ridge is. And the rest of that I can get with my straight tool. Okay. All right. So let's grab the number one hollower again. And what I was using was, where are we at? Which camera? The little the new mini hollowers, and they come equipped with a negative rate cutter for doing resin work. There's my number one hollower, favorite tool. Back this back up just a little bit. There's that ridge. So I'll just start to cut my way down through there. Now what'll happen is this is going to really fill up with chips. So I'll have to be careful. I may have to get the air hose on the compressor over there. I think I will, to blow this out. Give me just a minute, put the hose on the compressor so we can blow this out. Getting too deep and too difficult to not use a little bit of air on it. There we go. Somebody sure is making a mess out here today. All right, back to work. Let me check and see if there's any questions while that mask is defogging. Dick Gerard, living the good life. Glad to hear it, buddy. And do. Okay. That looks good. All right. I'm just looking at that. I don't know if you can see. If I had a light out here, I'd shine it through there. See how you can see through it. Although it's just enough. This would make a great little light bulb lampshade of some kind. Make this be the base. Make that be a top. Have cut all the way through. Have the light come through that guy. I was being expressive and you couldn't see it. Make a lampshade out of it. Maybe make this the base, and then flares up this natural flare right here. Have the light shine through there. Give you a little kind of orangey glow with a little glitter of the stars of the glitter. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud and having fun. All right, let's go back to the end shot and let's finish this guy out in here. because the clock says it is 3:30. Again, I can now with the straight tool, I can make pretty quick work of this. And I'll just kind of drill my way down through here a little bit. Change the camera over to the overhead for you as well. Go to the hump in the middle, little pin. I just usually get underneath it and then kind of lift up. Cut it right away. Sounds like the dentist drill going there. All right, let's stop and clean this guy out before it sets back up. Just like the dentist back in the old days. Okay, so I'm almost right down to the very bottom there. Which one am I on? I'm on the overhead. I'm almost right to where my finger is right here. Still got some work to do on the wall, but a few passes down through there, and I'll bet you we'll be good to go. So if I'm on the overhead, I'm going to lean over since you're not in the way. You can see my 3 fingers are just holding it down. That's all they're doing. Stop and clean it out as I cut pretty good pass there. All right, let's go straight down the bottom some more. Yeah, you could drill it out, but what fun would that be? All right. A little bit further. I may actually, I don't know. No, I better stay with this. Think about going to a bigger cutter for a second, but I think I'll stay right here where I'm at. So that puts me just about there. I just need to go a little bit further. I don't need to get all the way down to the very bottom. Now I'll work my way down the wall again. To take the wall thickness down. Keep that handy right there if it'll stay. That goes real quick with the straight tool for the wall thickness there. I'm real close to where I want to be. Real close in wall thickness. So I'm going to start to lighten up my pass and try and make it a little bit smoother. It's hard to make it smooth with this little teeny tool. I can't get rid of that nub for one last time. Okay. I'm going to leave it right there, I think. I'm going to take the edge off of this top corner. This lip is a little sharp. So we'll just kind of smooth that over a little bit. We'll just round all this top over now that we're done, beating it up. Make a nice little face on it. Okay, good deal. A quick polish on the tip top, and we will call that little guy, for now, until it's time to sand, we're going to call that done. And let's see, okay. I figured since the microphone batteries had died, I needed to check on the iPad, but it's still got 48% on it. You heard me grumbling yesterday, this Apple Pad won't let you charge and connect another item to it, at least that I'm aware of, at the same time. Again, I'm not an I kind of person. I don't have anything other than this. So when it's drawing power, because it's running the remote for the camera switcher, I can't get juice to it. Maybe that's just me, but they ought to do something about that. I'm sure the new ones. So I don't know if you can see, as I reach in here, I know I can see it up at the top. You can see, which one are we on? We're on that. You can see the paper towel through there, that top edge. Now this resin is so green, if I was to get it really hot, if I can put a lot of friction, it gets pretty hot. I could get it hot and I could actually warp it and then squeeze it, or squeeze it, warp it, squeeze it, and hold it there. And then it would set back up in a non-round fashion. It's been a fun little project. I like this little guy. So Roper, I don't know where you are today. I don't think you're in here on any of these, but if you happen to see this, or somebody tell him that when he's at SWAT with us in August, he's going to have to do, he did a wooden hollow form with the Easy Wood micro tuner mini hollowers. I'm going to make him have to do a resin piece like this. Roper's a great guy. Run away. All right. We are going to call that good for now. Unfortunately, this is the part that's not like out at the woodworking show, where we wrap up the seminar and then you can come take a look at it and all that good stuff, because you can only see what's in the camera. So you can see on the end there, you can see in the That's the end. See in the overhead, I think that's where it was before. Really pretty piece. Let's see if I put something dark in there. See it in some places where the clear is. I'd love to shine a light in here, but I don't have one. And back down to the end there. It's a pretty little piece. Pretty neat. Fun. All kinds of good stuff. All right. So there's our little piece. It's not very big, obviously, as you can see. And I can see through the veins. There's the veins of clear. There's stripes of clear. When I poured the clear resin in yesterday, that when you look through one wall, not two, you can see right through it. I don't know of a way to get light on it with the camera for you. Focus. I'm trying something here. I can do it. I'm not coordinated enough to move things the right way. Upside down, backwards. In fact, I'm actually trying to line it up on a different camera. Have the light shine in it. There we go. So if I go to overhead spot, you can see my hand through the clear there. So when you look through just one wall of it, you can see right through the translucentness. So it'd make a great light bulb or a lamp shade, excuse me. Anyway, so much for that. That was good fun. I love turning resin. I love mixing resin, casting resin. It's a ball. I have a wonderful time. Good deal. Good deal. So I think, looks like the feed is slowing down. I think it is 3:30, and if I remember correctly, right there for a second. I'm going to double check and see what my schedule says, if I have a break or if I am still on deck here. 3:30. All right, so we're just going to keep right on rolling. This one is fairly short anyway. I need to step out to the van and find my little piece of wood and then my spindle master, and I'll be right with you. So I'm not going anywhere. Not going anywhere far anyway. Okay, okie dokie. So we are changing gears from resin Scroll down here. All right. Changing gears. We're going to do a little work on a piece of square stock with a tool called the Spindle Master from Sorby that they had asked me to demonstrate out at the shows this year. Sorby was a new sponsor for Spiracraft and great folks to work with, and I was more than happy to accommodate. And they have this tool called a Spindle Master, and I'm not a spindle turner. I'll be the first to admit. It's not something I do a lot. I've always kind of been a bowl guy, as they say, which I'm fine with that. It's about doing what you like. But I've been having fun. And I started having more fun, honestly, last year, spindle turning with Carter and Son spindle gouges. I started playing with spindle gouges more, just to broaden myself, because there's things that I don't know. And there's only one way to learn. That's play with new tools. So I'm not going to put this between centers on a spur drive. I'm just going to put it in the chuck, in jaws, and hold this. And then I got to find the spindle master. I think it's in the toolbox. In theory, I had a break in between, and I was going to get this all set up and find everything. But we know how theories go, especially when I'm in charge. What I love about this chuck right here, this Easy Wood chuck, see how quick I change the jaws? No screws, nothing to lose. I should send them that phrase. Jim Luley, are you still in here? Marketing manager for Easy Wood Tools. No screws, nothing to lose. Make check payable to folks at Easy Wood are good folks. I'm teasing him. They can use that, but I'm teasing them. I stopped by their office went after Columbus didn't happen. I hung out in Lexington over the weekend. Then I came on and dropped off some demo tools and whatnot at the office and visited with Jim, Molly, Brittany, and a gal out in the warehouse or in the back in the plant whose name eludes me. Super friendly, super helpful. I was in and out of there in about 2 hours. How to work. So good folks, good folks. Now this is a piece of, I'm pretty sure it's a piece of cherry, and it splits pretty bad. I got it from Home Depot, so I'm gonna leave it at that. Sometimes when you're out on the road and you run out of wood, you can't be too choosy. But this little tool is fun. Again, I'm not a spindle turner, or I'm terrible with a skew. So the Spindle Master has been an interesting tool for me to learn to use. And I do need to polish it a little bit as well. So we can go through a couple of things about it. If I only knew where it was. Maybe I've already put it on the rack. There we go. Not completely organized yet from coming off the road. Get the air hose out of the way. So here's what's interesting about the Spindle Master. Let me go overhead for you. It's a very simple looking tool. Flat on the top. Thin profile. Then it has a bevel. Just this one bevel right here. And I'll show you from the end. Simple tool, got the bevel. It's dead flat right here on the top. So here's what's interesting. You don't sharpen the bevel. Only thing you sharpen is the top. You take your diamond card, which is in my back pocket, and we run across this, the diamond card. We keep this bevel polished. This is a polished bevel, and it's that way on purpose. It helps burnish the cut behind the tool or behind the cut. Now this was getting a little manky, so that's why I said I was going to go ahead and take some of this polishing abrasive paste, and I'm going to polish this. So that's what I'm going to do real quick, is I'm going to put a little polishing on this and clean this up. Make myself a little workstation here. There we go, that'll work. And if you were one of the lucky contestants out on the road, had a registration, and some lucky people have won these. Now, I haven't sent them out yet. And the grand prize, we also had grand prize registration. You had to be out at the shows to register. Now, if you were at the shows or have a ticket to the shows, the Woodworking Show was supposed to, should have it, hopefully, I sent you an email with an email to Spirocraft. And if you will send Spirocraft a copy of your email with the receipt for your show, we will put you in the drawing for the grand prize sweepstakes. So if you have a ticket for Columbus or Syracuse, the two that didn't take place, email us and go through the show, because I created a special email, and without sitting in the office, I don't remember it off the top of my head, but they have it there. Or you could email me. You could just email it at info at Spiralcraft, for lack of anything else. And let me know. Show me your receipt for Syracuse or Columbus, and we will put you in the drawing for the grand prize, which contains, it's a great one too, Sorby Pro Edge Deluxe sharpening system, the belt sanding system with all the extras, a Grex airbrush and compressor combo kit, one of the complete kits with their little compressor, which I'll have out here tomorrow. So you can see I'm just kind of polishing on this guy here to the. I can't remember which gun is in the kit. Been away for 2 weeks, and I forget which gun's in the kit. The new Genesis guns. Trident 02 or 03. Anyway, airbrush and compressor combo kit. It's about $500 and something combo. So is the Sorby belt sander. And also then Chromacraft, a complete selection that I put together of Chromacraft resin and resin tints and colorants and glitter and a variety of goodies like that. So if you were at the show and you didn't register, sorry about that, but if you have tickets to Syracuse or Columbus, let me know and it put you in the drawing. Okay, so that's polished up, good to go. All right, nice and shiny again, got all the resin and stuff off of it. Now, here's the other thing that's so cool about this tool. You think, well, how do you sharpen this guy? You take this little sharpening card, and I use the 300 side, and I go in a circular fashion, but you can make a straight strokes, whatever you want to do, but that's all you do to sharpen this tool. Okay? All there is to it. Super simple. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to try and keep up with, difficulty-wise. No jigs or anything like that. Now, it's ready to go. It's ready to roll. So it really shines in like pommel cuts. That's so far what I found it's best use. This is a fairly small piece of square stock, but I'll make some pommel cuts. I'll make some coves, beads. The one thing that might surprise you, and I'm going to go back to the middle camera again. The very tip, you might think you work with the tip, but you don't. You work between the tip and the back shoulder. So you work on these sides for 90% of the work. When you're down in a V trough, you can work with the tip then, okay? But if you do touch the tip, it doesn't catch like a skew does, but it will run up a slope. It'll kind of just skate and run up, so you'll know that you did something that you shouldn't have done there, okay? So I'm gonna double check this again in here. I see it's squeezing down into this piece of wood, but that's not going anywhere. And I'm going to jump over here real quick and check for anything on the pages. any kind of questions, and then we'll do some cuts with this guy. All right, nothing going on there. That was all clear. Looks like an insulator, my wife says, of the. Tell him my piece is an insulator, honey. It's all good. All right. Good there. Looks good there. Computer. JP was in here. Still around, JP? Okay. Let's do a little turning with this guy. What do you say? I need to probably trying to decide which camera is going to be the best for you to see what's going on. Probably this end camera. So let me change it so you don't get dizzy when I'm changing it. There we go. That'll work for now on that one. And I'll switch to that one. Just the overhead. That way. There we go. Okay. So we are turning RPM wise. I'm going to stop and start. I'm not going to round this whole piece. I'm just going to leave it as it is. Take her up around 2,000, somewhere in that vicinity. That should do the trick. Now the tool rest height is one that varies, at least for me with this tool. Depending on what I'm doing, I raise and lower it. It is a new, it's a new tool to me. It's not one I've been working with for years. I've been having fun working with it. So just coming in with the edge of the tool. Switch to the overhead for you. And that polished bevel in the underneath is what's going to give us that real nice finish on the wood. So if you just needed to make a couple of chair legs or a couple of table legs, and you weren't a spindle turner through and through, this would be a great tool to start with or to use, because you can make your profiles that you need without too much trouble and without a lot of effort, time spent on the learning curve. All right. So I'll go a little bit further with this. Make this one a little bit longer. And you can see from the sheen on the wood, you get a nice clean cut. And it gets burnished up. Which one am I in? I'm on the end camera. Go to the overhead for you. All right. Now I'm going to make another pass across here. Just a nice light pass. And that's a nice clean cut. Very nice. All right. Now, let's say we wanted to, I'm going to raise this tool rest up a little bit more. Start to make, are we in the overhead? Okay. I'm just going to make some profiles for you. And I'm going to leave that square in the middle, that flat section in the middle of these. I just wanted to get the corners off. Drop my tool rest back down. And let's come in here. Start to work our way in. In the overhead, yeah. And so now as I make the cuts in these profiles, you may notice, well, you can't see it. You can see it better over here. Let me go over here for a second. You'll see that as I make the cuts, I raise the handle up as I come in. Don't stick it on the other side like that. So the shiny bevel is what's burnishing that cut on the way in. I'm raising the handle up as I come. Now I can use the tip right in that corner. Show you again. I can use that tip right in that corner. Okay. And you can see how that bevel is riding right along there. Okay. And these are nice, clean, burnished cuts. So that's where the tool caught. I'll go clean that up. But these are super clean, right down in through. The top's got a little bit right up in there, but I was concentrating on this section down in the middle of it. And this does a super job, and you don't have the fear that you normally would have if you're not a skew person. Okay? Because if you've worked with a skew and you're not proficient with it, like many of us, you're always scared to death of that catch because it can be so violent. Okay? So those are real nice and smooth, real nice and clean. Just fine. I've dreamed up all kinds of shapes that I never thought of, not being a spindle turner. Working with this tool, there's a million variations on a profile that you can make on a stick. Um, so I used to really, kind of give spindle turning a hard time. It's like, well, you can only do so much. But it's funny, you think you have a clue, and then you realize that you start spending some time with a particular style or method of turning, and you find all kinds of things that you can do. And I've been having a ball because I love different shapes. Coming in here, learning to use this tool. And making all kinds of crazy things. It's just part of my learning process. Hope my head's not getting in the way. So that's why I entitled this little section of the seminar or seminars, Master Spindle Turning with One Tool, because the spindle master, I won't say it'll make you a master spindle turner, but it will give you the ability with one tool that's not difficult to use and it's not scary to work with, the ability to make some legs or do some spindle work that you need to do without fear. It's a great little tool. Get rid of, I had a little nick right there still. That's where I run into trouble when I get right up on the crown of things and I let the tip touch like you're not supposed to. Gives me a little bit of trouble. And apparently, the folks at Sorby told me this tool is not that well known in the States, but very well known in Europe. So that's why they asked me to bring it out and start showing it. I said, of course, I was happy to do. Get rid of that the squareness up there. It's kind of a funny story. The initial shipment of Sorby tools for me did not arrive. They were supposed to arrive several weeks before I went out on the road for the woodworking shows, and they got held up in customs up in Cincinnati, and I literally had to go down to Savannah and pick them up the day before I left for Baltimore for the first show. I'm going to defog here for a second. So I go down to Savannah the day before I leave for Baltimore for the first show, and I had never even seen this tool. Didn't have time to practice with it. Jumped into my first seminar in Baltimore and openly explained that I had just taken it out of the package due to the fact that I hadn't gotten the box till 2 days before. And off we went on our learning curve with the tool. And I've been having a ball with it ever since. So it's not scary to work with. It's easy to use. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up a few of these, and then I'll grab that polish again, and we'll just polish it. I don't know what this wood is. I have no idea. It's nothing to get excited about. Again, it came from Home Depot. I have no idea what it is. Doesn't turn all that great, but that's neither here nor there. And we'll throw a little wax on it just so you could get an idea of what you could do with a simple tool that's not difficult to use. And again, I'm going to finish turning this. If you have questions, pop them in the comments over there, and I'll take a look here in a few minutes and answer anything I can for you about it. Back to the overhead. Let's see what we got here. I still got that little square section right on that. Get rid of this stuff. See what that did for me. All right, that worked out pretty well. I'm gonna fix that right there best I can if I don't mess it up. Then we'll take the abrasive paste to this guy. I don't know if you can see the very, very fine, it's almost like sanding dust that comes off when you make that light controlled pass. Okay? All right. Sorby Spindle Master. Cool little guy. Super simple. Actually quite easy to use. Does wonders for you. Let's just throw a little polish on it just for fun. And then we're going to call it a day. I don't know what time it is, but it's time for me to put my feet up. But this would be a typical woodworking show day for me, except that we'd be in the hall. And again, we're emulating the woodworking show. We'd be in the hall till 6, and then we'd load up and go off and find something to eat. Go have some dinner. Go back to the hotel room, do the paperwork on the computer, check everything for the day. Sometimes stop and have ice cream on the way. Get up and do it again the next day. Happy to show people all the things that I have been shown over the years now. Share this information. I learn just as much along the way. I have no question about that. You never stop learning in your wood turning. You may learn everything you need to know, you think, about one particular thing, but that means there's something else that you haven't messed with yet. Now, I didn't even sand this with sandpaper, so keep that in mind. And this is some really soft wood. Might as well I'd throw a little wax on it, little paste, and see what it looks like after the fact. Yeah, a piece of sandpaper would have done it well. But that's all right. That's all right. We're having fun. We're learning new things. We're getting practice. Speaking of myself, having fun, getting practice. It's all good. A little bit of the fine wax on here, or fine paste. But as far as making, whatever shape you need, especially if you have to replicate something. Say somebody brings you a piece of furniture as a turner and it needs one leg replaced. And, you don't have the skew skill set. For $50-something or whatever the thing costs, you can replicate that leg or piece pretty easy, pretty quick. without having to invest a lot of time in your spindle work if you're a bowl guy like me. All right, there we have our little spindle replication. Good fun, easy to do, not a difficult tool to learn. Sharpens with a diamond card. Uh, Polish, keep the bevel polish on the backside. Not hard to work with, not at all. All right. Well, I don't know what time it is. Let's take a look and see. Let me see if anybody had questions about this tool. It's a little after 4. Let's check on all the pages here. That's way long ago. All right, and on this one, 5 in there. I don't see any new questions. Come here, drive. Scroll down, please. Thank you. That was up. I must be getting tired. It keeps scrolling up when I want it to scroll down. All right. And looks like we're good there. Okay. Well, I thank everybody who spent the day with me on and off throughout the day. It's been a lot of fun. I had a good day. I hope you learned some things in our replica of a woodworking show day as far as demonstrations by myself, sponsored by Spirecraft, or presented, as it says over my head, by Spirecraft. Woodworking shows, we got 9 out of 11 shows in this year, so I guess we can't complain. Do wish we could have gone to Columbus and Syracuse, and I wish I could have gone to Totally Turning after that. But like I say, everybody being safe and healthy at home and getting this mess behind us is more important. So I can work right here in the safety of my home and my shop and my studio and spend time with you folks. So I'm looking forward to coming out tomorrow. I should know my schedule. I should look at my phone. So because I never keep it in my head. I just don't. So let me take a look here. Even though it's on the website as well, but I just don't. I got so much in my head, I don't keep it all in there. And I'm pretty sure I keep it open in my phone here. So Sunday, we'll be doing the turning your first bowl again, which normally was a local turner from one of the clubs. So I'll come out here and I'll play with something. I'll turn a bowl. We'll make another simple bowl. Go through that because not everybody necessarily caught that. At noon, I'll be playing with coloring techniques, the Chromacraft, and the Grex airbrush. I'll get the airbrush out. I hope they're not so dirty that I haven't cleaned them that they won't work, but I'll make them clean. I got lacquer thinner. So we'll be working with stencils and the dyes and the paints and metallic effect paints, patinas, airbrush, fun things like that. All kinds of stuff in the coloring world. And then at the end of the day for Sunday, because Sunday's a short day, the show ends at 3. 1:30, I'll have another Sorby tool out. Again, it goes to the spindle turning. This is called their multi-tip. They actually call it the multi-tip hollowing tool. And I have several tips here that do beads. One that does beads, one that does coves. And if I can find the hollowing tip, I have it. Again, one tool, a couple of different cutters. These are high-speed steel. They're not carbide. We'll wrap the day up with this little guy, doing some projects, and that will be the end of our weekend. So that's the schedule. That's the plan. Again, I appreciate everybody. Have a good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're at. I'm going to go take my shoes off, put my flip-flops back on, feet up and eat a bowl of popcorn and watch some TV and rest. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Do I have a patent for the iPad holder? You mean the duct tape part or the part that I scavenged off of something else, Lewis? No, I don't have a patent, Lewis. I do not. I don't even have a plate. Don't even care. All righty. Where am I at here? Everybody have a good day. Thank you very much.